All right, I think I got it. I'm going live on all of these platforms. I'm not used to doing this, so just bear with me. I've got 3 different cameras. So yeah, hi everyone. We're gonna get ready today. So it's just kind of a lazy Monday for us. Michael's working. Normally I'm working, but there's this big storm, so my work was closed. So I'm gonna give you guys a special treat and get ready with me today. So as you can see, I take a shower in the morning. I've got no makeup on. And I've got some products down here in the carousel that I want to share with you guys. I'm just going to kind of show you how I get ready. Honestly, I don't do makeup all that often. I typically just run like this because I got 4 kids and I don't have a lot of time. But on the days that I do have time, and on the days where I feel like I want to get ready, even just to go to the grocery store, I totally do, because I feel like self-care is an important part of a healthy lifestyle that gets neglected, especially for people who are busy entrepreneurs or people who are parents, or if you're working from home. Like, why bother getting ready, right? You can be in your pajamas. Well, I find personally that if I get up, I get dressed, I get showered, meditate, get dressed, and put makeup on, even if I'm just going to the grocery store to pick up the kids, I feel like I've given myself something. I feel like I'm making deposits. I feel like I'm taking care of myself and showing up for myself. And makeup's been kind of a newer way that I try to do that. Because to be honest with you, historically, I really have not worn makeup. I wore it like a little bit in high school for fun. And in my early 20s, when I was a singer and performer, I would wear it again for fun. But a lot of times other people would help me with my makeup. So I never really learned how to do it. And now here I am. I'm going to be 40 this year. And I'm finally like trying to figure out how to do makeup and trying to choose makeup specifically in products that are aligned with my lifestyle. I don't really like to put a lot of stuff in my skin. I don't put anything in my hair. I rarely wash it. I don't like to use a lot of products, to be honest. I use oils, I use natural things that you can find in your house. I make my own salt scrub for my face. So I'm kind of pretty minimalist when it comes to my skincare, my self-care. But I do love the Bare Minerals line of products. They're the ingredients are really good for your skin, and I find that I can leave it on even overnight if I don't feel like washing, and it's not a big deal, and it doesn't look super cakey. But I have learned some tricks and tips that help it not look super cakey, because I hate the full face makeup look. And I don't like feeling like stuff is on my skin, because again, I'm used to, I surfed as a kid. I'm used to going to the beach. I'm used to just having bare skin. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and tag the brushes that I bought on Amazon that were really helpful. It's this brush brand, this Luxe Brew makeup brushes. So it kind of comes with a set of so many brushes. You guys, honestly, I don't even know what a lot of these are, but I'll show you the ones that I use. But it came with, I think it was like 24 brushes. So you have, I don't even know, like, honestly, I don't know what a lot of stuff, as you can see, I bought it months ago. It's a lot of it's still in the package because I don't use it. I have my few that I use. Actually going to try this new brush today, this angled guy for the brows. And then I have like some eyeshadow brushes, but there's lots of overflow. So yeah, those are, and then I have this other brand of brushes that I'm going to go ahead and tag, this eye makeup brush set that I got, 6-piece eye makeup brush set that has just a few little brushes. I really bought it for to have a lot of different shades, because when I do get to the eyeshadow part, there's I bought one palette, but there's several different palettes you can use from Bare Minerals that are really beautiful and good for different seasons. I just picked something that I know is good for like brown eyes and brown hair. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just to give you guys a little background, my base moisturizer that I use is this Sacred Serum. I don't believe you can get it on Amazon. I get it directly from the website. It's not cheap, but I love it. I love this oil. They do have some good Amazon products for oil blends for your face. I don't use lotion. Again, I try not to use anything on my skin that I wouldn't really eat or isn't super minimal for ingredients list. But this is just all essential oils and good carrier oils, and it nourishes my skin. It really helps in winter. I used to notice in winter I'd get dry, cracked skin because I never really put any moisturizer or any makeup on it. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing I really do need to moisturize in the winter, especially. So this goes a long way. You don't have to use a lot. I probably use more in winter than I do in spring and summer. I'll use less oil. but that's all that's on my face right now is just this oil. So yeah, and I don't sleep because I have a 9-month-old, so I'm always tired and I look tired. So thank you so much. That's a really sweet comment that I'm still very beautiful. Appreciate it. We'll see the before and after, right? I feel very beautiful even when I don't wear makeup, but
I think you're the most beautiful.
but it's nice every once in a while for date night, or like I said, just going out and running errands to just feel like I'm giving myself that little extra. All right. So that's the brushes. So I'm going to get into the products I've got. There, it's all Bare Minerals line except for my brows. I'll show you that when we get to that. But the first product I'm going to use is the Bare Minerals Original Powder. Let's see, Original Loose Foundation. So yeah, this is that. It comes in so many different shades. I finally settled on this neutral ivory shade. I do change the shade from winter to summer. So this is like the lightest my skin will get. Excuse the 9-month-old screaming in the background. So this is the lightest that my skin will get. So this is my lightest shade that I use, which is the neutral ivory. It's number 6. So yeah, basically when you open your powder, it's super loose like this. If you haven't used it before, it's very, very loose. You don't need a whole lot. A little goes a long way. And then I'll tell you guys my secret for making it not look like cakey and powdery. So I use this brush for my powder foundation. Now, honestly, I would use, if I had one, I'd use one that's a little thicker, almost like this brush. Works really good because I like to buff it in really good. But I'm using this one for my blush right now, or excuse me, my bronzer. So I'm just using this one because it's the second best, thickest brush. But if I had my way, I'd probably eventually get a nice, thick, smaller kind of kabuki looking brush. But this is fine for me because, again, I just don't use a whole lot of this stuff, or very often. I don't do my makeup. Today's a special day. So you can kind of see I put it in the top, the lid part, to get the loose powder going. And I'm very, very like sparse as I apply it. I don't apply a whole bunch to start with. And I'll just start on one side and kind of like really buff it in. Kind of making several different swirls so that the oil on my skin and the natural oils and the oil that I apply get a chance to fuse with the powder and have it not looking super cakey and powdery, kind of like really blending it. So it ends up almost looking like more of a liquid foundation. So yeah, just kind of buff it in for maybe 60 seconds on one side. Mom has Bare Minerals. I love it. Yeah, I've been using Bare Minerals since I was young, and it's like, I don't know, I've just always loved how when I wear it, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing makeup. I hate the feeling of makeup, and every liquid foundation I've ever used over my life makes me feel like I'm just wearing makeup, and I don't like the way it feels on my face. So for those of you that have sensory issues, or that don't like to wear a bunch of stuff on your skin, I highly recommend the Bare Minerals. It looks really like you're not wearing anything, and it feels like, more importantly, it feels like you're not wearing anything. But yeah, we're just kind of buffing it in there. I don't go too hard around my eyes just because I'm going to end up using the concealer anyway. But again, sticking with like the same thing as on the opposite side, you want like 60 seconds of really buffing it in and making sure that it's setting with the oil. I'm just going to take a quick second here to dry up my poor runny nose that I'd rather not blend in with my foundation. Okay. Now moving on a little bit more, we're going to get to my chin and nose. Again, 60 to 90 seconds. Buffing, buffing, buffing. And this part feels good too, honestly. Like, I know guys don't wear makeup, and I feel like they're missing out in the sense of like the brushing on your face feels like a little massage. And it probably does serve in that sense for your nervous system to just kind of feel like you're getting a little love on your skin in areas that you don't normally get. You know, obviously when you're washing in the shower, you're kind of massaging your skin, massaging the soap into your skin and rinsing it off. But yeah, this brushing just feels like a nice little skin tickle massage. Getting it, working it in, working it in. I'll try to get really close for you guys so you can kind of see once it's all in there. And then last but not least, we'll do my forehead. I mean, I feel like you can already kind of tell, like, this color. By all means, you know, go on Amazon if you feel confident about your color. But I ended up going to the store because I just wanted to color match first before I bought it. So if you go to any kind of beauty store and they carry this line, I recommend testing the product and getting the right color match, because the first color I got was way too light and it just like really washed me out. I had to go and match it first. But yeah, I'm sitting here putting it on. You guys can tell as I'm getting ready, like this isn't a huge deviation from my skin color. So that's another important part to like not looking like you're wearing a ton of makeup, not feeling like you're wearing a ton of makeup, and not looking like you're wearing a ton of makeup by having a terribly matched shade of makeup that just doesn't go with your skin tone. Very, very vital. Again, I'm just spending that extra time buffing everything in. And then once I'm done, I'm kind of like, now what I'm basically doing is I'm just going through. If I feel like there's any areas that are looking really powdery or haven't buffed as well, I'm just kind of going over with the brush and hitting them again. Making sure we have a nice even buff. And again, guys, just for those of you that are just joining or anybody that's watching me get ready, I am not a makeup expert. I am very new to the makeup game. I'm trying to just like do natural stuff that feels good. So I'm not, if you're looking at me and you're like, that's not how I would do it. Well, I'm very much a beginner and I'm just feeling it out, getting ready every once in a while when I have the time and the bandwidth. Okay. So I'm going to put my original loose powder back. And now I'm going to use the Bare Minerals concealer, which I'll highlight in the carousel. So this is, again, another loose. I accidentally tried that loose powder. Where is it? I think I might have accidentally highlighted that one first. But anyway, all right. So yeah, one's loose powder, one's concealer. They're both loose powder, but the concealer is, it works in a similar fashion. So I'll show you all. Again, you're going to put your little tiny bit in the cap. I use this brush. I don't know what kind of brush this is, but it works well for like around my eyes and the certain areas that I like to conceal. I'm pretty, what's it called? Light in the concealer department. I don't do a whole lot. Obviously, I try to hit my under eyes really well. And again, use the same technique of like just buffing it in, just because I have a baby and I don't sleep and I always have bags under my eyes.
Still look hot.
Yet I still look hot, yes, somehow. I think the hotness that I look is just from trying to keep a certain vitality about myself in my mental and my physical presence. But maybe the makeup will help slightly. Anyway, so yeah, just buffing it in. Kind of try to get inside there. And I think, I don't know, I remember when I was younger, my mom used to always do makeup and get ready for work and stuff. And she always used all these various products. And by at a certain point in my life, I just felt like it takes too much time to do makeup. So I stopped doing it or trying. And then as we get older and get wrinkles and all the things, I don't know, I feel like there's a natural level of character to my aging face that I'm okay with. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I don't want anyone to see my wrinkles. Like, I am the age that I am. I'm not trying to be anything else. But with the really powdery concealers and foundations, I do try to kind of like, once I apply it, I'll hit my chin a little bit on the concealer. I'll hit the top of my nose a little bit because I have this like red area of my nose. Sometimes I'll hit in between my eyebrows. And then if I have any blemishes, which I don't know, I don't really have any right now. There's a couple of like little wintry blemishes maybe from the way I slept. So I'll hit over here. But yeah, it blends in really nicely. It's really, I love this powder concealer and the way that Bare Minerals does it, just because I feel like there's a lot of forgiveness with people like me who maybe aren't so great at applying their makeup, and I don't want to sit here and spend, you know, half an hour getting ready if I'm going to do it. I really want it to be like a 10-15 minute process. So it's nice just to be able to kind of blend everything and not go too crazy. So yeah, there we have it. And then usually I'll go in like close to the mirror and kind of rub around directly around my eyes to make sure I've kind of rubbed and pressed it all in instead of, I don't know what's going on here. It's like a little. All right. Just to make sure there's, yeah, it's just pressed in, like pressed in look for the concealer. All right. So we've got our concealer. We've got, again, I don't go too crazy with it. I got like some kind of little skin thing on my nose. What is it? Dry skin. That's what I'm trying to say. Dry skin that I'm trying to get off, but whatever. We'll just leave that there. You can't really see on the camera anyways. No one's getting that close to me except for my baby. All right. Maybe Michael. All right, so we got our concealer, we got that. So the next step is bronzer, which again, I use the Bare Minerals bronzer. It's another loose powder, very similar to the other stuff that I've used. I'll tag that. And I like it because I like this and the blush that I use from Bare Minerals because I noticed that they're both like there's like a little shimmer to it. So you know, I'm looking a little bit like I'm glowing. All right, so I use this brush for that, which again, this is like a smaller version of what I would prefer my foundation brush to look like. And I kind of just go along the outside of my face and make like the number 3, which my brother-in-law's girlfriend told me this trick because she's like, I don't even know, probably 10 or 15 years younger than me. And I told her, I bought bronzer. I don't know how to use bronzer or what bronzer is about. And she's like, well, just make a 3 on each side of your face. So that's what I do. So we go to the top and kind of just go down the line here, come in here, and then go down the bottom underneath my chin. And then after I apply on one side, I do the same thing on the other side, and then it's just about blending it in. Which honestly, I think even when I first apply, if I just go over it a couple times, it blends pretty nicely itself. So that's why I'm telling you guys, this Bare Minerals, you could really not know what you're doing and be real sloppy, and it's very forgiving. So perfect for me, perfect for anybody who's not like, I don't know, a makeup artist or really a perfectionist. If you're looking for a very specific look or perfection, this might not be your line, but your product line, but I love it. It gives me a lot of grace. All right. So yeah, and then just kind of blending. I might come in slightly just if there's any hard lines. Blending. All right. So that's that face. Take the bronzer and put it back. And the next thing I'm going to put on is my mineral veil. So sometimes I play around. Bare Minerals has a mineral veil, which is kind of like a setting powder that'll just kind of take away some of the shine. I'll go ahead and I don't think I put that in the carousel, accidentally forgot. So anyway, it's called the Mineral Veil. It's literally called the Mineral Veil. That's what it is. And I use it extremely sparingly, and I use kind of a bigger brush for that. That's this one. It's just very like loosey-goosey. I don't use a whole lot. I use like a tiny little bit, and then I just kind of once over everything to set it. And again, bring the blending in with the bronzer and the powder and the concealer. I don't like go hard on buffing this in because it is supposed to be kind of like your setting powder. Just do like a nice little once over with this kind of loose big brush. And there you have it. That's another good thing about these products, these Bare Minerals products. Like I use a tiny little bit of powder with each step. So my stuff lasts so long. Like I've had, and these products never expire. They never age. That's another kind of unique thing about the Bare Minerals line. So you can keep it. I've literally had some of this stuff for like 15 years from my 20s when I used to play around with Bare Minerals, and it's still good. It's still working. Like that mineral veil is like probably 15 years old. All right, so the last step on my face that I'm going to do is this blush. It's actually a highlighting blush, so it's kind of like 2 steps in one, which I love. Again, I try to make my routine really simple and easy and fast. I'm not trying to do like, I don't know, applying like 10 different things on my face just to, you know, freshen it up. So I like the combo of the blush with the highlighter because it's 2 little steps and it puts it on the part of my face that's the most important highlight, which is on my cheeks. It's also very muted. It's not like a crazy blush color. I think there's like 4 or 5 options for the color from light to darker. And this is the second darkest color. And again, I'm in my, what's it called? My winter skin. So I'm very pale right now. And, you know, you guys can see it's nothing crazy putting this on. It's not like overwhelming. And I'm applying a lot. I'm definitely a little bit more liberal with my application of the blush compared to everything else. So I'm applying it. I never feel like when I apply a whole bunch that I'm looking like I'm loaded up with blush. In the summertime, when I'm using my darker color, I'll probably end up going with the darkest color of blush because this is what you're getting with a good amount of application, a little bit of highlighting, a little bit of color, nothing crazy. And this is the second darkest color. So there's that. That's the final step for my face. So now I'm going to move on to my eyes. So I play around with eyebrow stuff. I'm not the best at eyebrows, but I'm trying. I'm going to try this new brush. So you guys are in real time. This is part of that line that I highlighted earlier, but I do it again. This is the angled brush. It's very thin and narrow. And I use a product that, this is the only non-Bare Minerals product I use for my face, technically, let's say, which is this, let's see if I can find it, $1 billion brush powder. So it is still a powder for my eyebrows. I know some people like to use, you know, brow pens, and some people like to use gels and creams and all kinds of stuff. But I'm a big powder girl. Like I keep saying, I like to keep it simple, I like to keep it forgiving. And I find that powders tend to be a little more friendly in that world. So this product is called $1 Billion Brows. I'll highlight that one in the carousel as well. And there's a bunch of different colors. I chose black because basically like my eyebrows are black. So it seemed to make the most sense. All right, so the first thing I do is kind of brush them out with this guy, which I got with the brush set. So I just kind of like brush them out just to see if there's any spots that might need a little bit more help. And honestly, I have a pretty thick brow as it is. So like if I forget the step or I don't do it, it's not a big deal to me. My eyebrows are still nice and lush, but I'm trying to up my eyebrow game and get a little bit more character in there. So you guys can let me know what you think. The eyebrows are still probably my weakest point of doing makeup, but so be it. All right, so I'm like super, super gentle and sparing with this powder. I barely use any. And then I just kind of like flick it into the front part and go evenly through the rest. I've noticed that like a little goes a long way with this powder, and I don't want to end up coming out with crazy dark brows because again, I already have like a pretty thick brow situation going on. So I just flick the front and then go along my regular brow line. I know there's like all these techniques where you can kind of fill in the top, fill in the bottom, and frame your eyebrows. I'm not, I don't know. I'm not that much of an expert yet, but maybe I'll get there. And I've noticed that the more that I tend to try to do different brow techniques, they just get a little too thick for my liking, maybe because I'm a millennial. I know some people really like those cakey dark black brows, but I still really like them to look natural. So just not into it. So yeah, and one thing that I have learned, sometimes I'll go through and smudge, like even after I apply the $1 Billion Brow stuff, I'll go through and just smudge with a paper towel if I feel like I put too much on. And then I'll also go through with my brow brush again and comb it through, make sure that it's being applied evenly. Uh-oh, might be running out of time here with Hope. It's funny, the get ready with me when you're actually doing it makes the process take so much longer. Normally it's not this, it doesn't take this long for me. Pretty quick about it. And get ready with the baby. She only gives me so long. All right. So there you have it. Nothing crazy. Got my brows all done. Next, I go through my eyeshadow. So let's see, what are the two ones I used for that? So I usually use this one for like the lining around my my eyes, and a bigger one. I should do this one. More like something like this, or something like this for the rest of my eyeshadow. So I'm going to pull those two brushes out and show you guys my eyeshadow palette. So I like this Bare Minerals Mineralist eyeshadow palette. I'll tag that in the carousel. I think I did. Pull that up. Yep, there we go. This one is the Sunlit color, but they have like 4 or 5 different colors. They're all really good palettes. And I noticed that I really like the kind of darker one. So I'll go with like the golden, sun warmed, or bronzed. And then I'll line everything with the mahogany. So I'm going to start with, I'm feeling like we're going to do sun warm today because it's snowing outside and everything is really white. So I'm just going to be bold and be dark. So I just kind of smush that into my lids. I go a little big with my eyeshadow. I have big, beautiful eyes, so why hide it? I get like up into my brow and like so on one side, and then try to do the same thing on the opposite side. Sounds like Michael's figured out a way to entertain Hope for the moment. And yeah, this is like a little bit dark today. Some days I go with more like golden or a little less bold, but I think this will look really nice in the snow. All right, and I try to be pretty even on both sides. Almost done, dear. And then I'm going to go with the mahogany color, the darker color, just to kind of like line my, like right above my lashes. And I'll blend it a little bit. They're not like crazy different colors. I just kind of like one little darker, closer to my lashes, and almost like kind of flicking up on the end of the color. And then I just blend that in so it almost looks like it's one color, but it's 2 different colors. I'm not very precise with it. I'm sure there's better techniques, but I also kind of blend the bottom here. And then just, if there's any hard lines or I feel like I need to put it together. So yeah, that's pretty much that. All right, and last but not least, actually, no, not the last. We have my eyelashes and then a little tiny lip mineral slip thing. So I use the Bare Minerals mascara, and then I have an old Revlon eyelash curler. So I'm going to go in and curl them first. I feel like you guys are getting the worst view. Sorry, guys. All right, so they're nice and curled. I might go through 2 or 3 times because I have really big and long eyelashes, and sometimes I find if I quickly curl them, I don't get all of them, and I end up having to go back and redo it. And then I'm gonna use, I got this little once the mascara is on, I have like a comb that they gave me with the brush set that I haven't used yet, but I'm gonna try that. So yeah, I've done like 2 or 3 curls on each side. I feel like they're nice, and I kind of just gauge by like, can I see them really well? I can see them really well. So we're gonna go in and use this mascara. It's not super clumpy. It's pretty forgiving. I try not to use too much because I do already have big long lashes, and it can kind of get a little out of control if I go too hard with the mascara. So just paint that on. My mirror that I end up getting ready with is like so far away. So I'm so short, I have to like stand on my tippy toes to see and get in there. Hit the bottom ones. All right, we got one side done. We're gonna go with the other side. Again, I know a lot of people kind of like comb through and really get a good bit of mascara on. I have already very long lashes, and I find that they look a little crazy if I put too much mascara on. Okay, so I go pretty light with mascara. Oh my gosh, she's got boogers coming out of her nose. Oh, bear with the winter boogers coming in. For those of you that have seen our little video where I was showering and she's watching me, she's pretty happy as long as she's watching me, even if I'm not holding her. But when she can't see me, she tends to get a little fussy. So sometimes it's just easier for her to creep on me all day. All right. So we got the mascara on. And then I haven't used this yet, guys. I'm not gonna pretend like I have, but I am gonna try it today. So this came with that brush set, the one that I clicked on the carousel earlier, the Luxe Brew makeup brush that had 24 different things to it. And this is the comb that I think that's what this is for. No one's explicitly told me, so hopefully that's what this is for. But just to kind of like comb through your eyelashes after you've done the mascara, just to make sure if there's any clumping, you can separate it. Like I go so light, honestly, that I really don't have a lot of clumping. You know, you can kind of, let's see if I can get in each camera here. I don't have a whole lot of clumping. I'm not using enough to get crazy clumping. I try to keep it very minimalist there. That's the word. Okay. And then last but not least, I have a light plain shade of the Bare Minerals lip gloss. I do have some lipsticks that sometimes I'll use when I'm feeling like we're going out for a date or whatever, but I do really like this shade. It's the Peace shade. It's light. It kind of matches my lips, and sometimes I like to bring most of the attention to my eyes. I feel like it's one of my best features. So I just top it off with this. Give a little shine, a little plump. For a little squeal. Work it in, and helps there's a little hydration. It has a very easy, like not too crazy flavor, and helps just give my lips a little shine and a little plump while keeping most of the focus on my eyes. So that's how I'm getting ready today. Nothing too crazy. I probably won't do my hair. That's for another day, but this is my finished look. And I feel like, I don't know how long that took. It didn't take a whole lot of time. So I guess what, 30, 40 minutes, because I was explaining all the way through. But yeah, normally this is like a 15, 20 minute makeup with juggling the baby. So very doable for those of you, those moms out there. And it looks really nice if I actually go to the trouble of putting my hair up or doing something, pulling my hair away from my face, even more so. So all done. Thanks for getting ready with me. And I'm going to tag back in for the baby, go grocery shopping, and allow Mike to get back to work. Bye. Bye, guys.